Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Jim Masters Show live entertainment lifestyle talk show series. How's everybody doing? It's good to see all your smiley faces. It's Saturday night. It's 8 o'clock at night Eastern time here, 5 p.m. Pacific. We welcome everybody. This is the place to come for light, love, levity, and our famous levity, inspiration, great chat, inspiring conversations, entertainment, and lots of surprises. This is our entertainment lifestyle talk show series. We started some 430 episodes ago, just about 7 days a week, live on top of it, live 430 episodes ago. And it's really amazing, quite crazy, but it's really amazing. And thanks to all of you for all the great comments, the posts on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, the comments on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. Really appreciate all of that, all the love and the support, and all the levity, as we call it here. Hope everybody's doing well. It's a stunning day here. Right now, it's about 74 degrees and sunny. Yeah, on a Saturday night in July. We love it. And the entire day has been absolutely picture perfect. We're out at the coast earlier. Actually, after this show, we're going to go back out towards the coast. We're only a couple blocks from the ocean here, and we love it. Hope the weather is good and everything's good where you guys are. Again, if you had a bad day, a rough day, don't worry about it. We're going to cheer you up. We've got a great guest coming up. STEPHEN Dexter is live from New York City. Wonderful actor, writer, audiobook narrator as well. He hails originally from Connecticut. He makes his home in the Big Apple, where he's quite busy. We toast all of you on a Saturday night. Cheers. Here's to you and you and you and you. I almost feel like I'm at church and we're doing a blessing. It would be a blessing if I did this, right? If I did the whole thing. But hope everybody's doing well. And again, it's so nice to have you guys here today. It's a good day when you guys are with us on the Jim Masters Show live entertainment lifestyle talk show series. Got a bevy of comments coming in. Our viewers come from around the world, the United States, Canada, Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, you name it. And they comment. They're very, very active. We love that about our viewers, who are called lovities. That's right. You're probably like, what is this levity stuff? Well, that happened because I said the word levity in the summertime when I was trying to say levity and love, and out came that word, and it's been golden ever since. We welcome you to the Jim Masters Show live entertainment lifestyle talk show series, affectionately known as JMS Live. We say hello to all the lovities who are watching all around the world. We say continue to spread the word about our cool show we have here. We've created a wonderful place, a great community for people to come and be inspired and entertained. Lots of laughs. We always learn something on every episode as well. And every episode is something different, like a variety show or like a talk show would be. Subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Give it some levity. We would love that as we continue to grow this entertainment lifestyle talk show series, which we do not as a podcast. We actually do this like a television show because I work in TV and radio. So we sort of transferred some of that energy of working in television, radio, and media to this series, and it's been really great. So Jim Masters TV is the channel you're watching right now. Give it some levity. Subscribe. That's that red button you see right there on the screen. It says subscribe. Click that. Click the icon that shows a little bell next to it. That's the notification bell. So that way there you never miss any of our episodes, and you'll always be alerted when there's new episodes, which is generally almost every day, and surprise pop-up shows and so much more. Also, while you're on that YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, click like, thumbs up. There's a little arrow you see there that goes this way, thumbs up. And we would love it if you give it a thumbs up if you enjoy this episode and any and all of the episodes you enjoy on JMS Live, and leave a comment on our YouTube channel as well. We would love that. We really appreciate that. So I know you like to comment live during the show, but we'd also love it if you can comment afterwards on our YouTube channel right underneath this episode. That would be fantastic. Yes, in just a second, from New York, actor, writer, and narrator Stephen Dexter is going to be joining us. We are very excited to have him here. He's all poised and ready to go. Let's check in with some of our lovely viewers watching from around the world. From Kansas, USA, Sherry Larson's in the house. Hello, everyone. Good to see you, Sherry. And Joan Sandow is here. Hi, Jim. Glad to be here with everyone. I need this oasis. Welcome, Stephen, to Lovity Hall. I told Stephen about the whole Lovity thing. He loves it. All the guests love it. The world can use more Lovity, right? I really appreciate that you call our show an oasis. So many people do. The guests do. They say they feel so comfortable. And your phone must be possessed. We'll have to explain that one. Good to see all these smiley faces that are here as well. Our dear friend June Rachelson Aspa is here, reporting in live from the greater Baltimore, Maryland area. Good to see you, June. Hope you're doing well and feeling good. Merlin is here from Canada, Ontario. Good evening, Jim, and all Lovities. Good to see Merlin as well. Merlin is always here. And we love this. We love this. Look at all these great comments coming in here. Mary Bishop says, hello, Jim, and all Lovities. And good to see you in Pine Island, Florida. Our Mary Bishop, one of our faithful. And how is everyone today? Alessandra is in North Carolina. We're so happy that she is here as well. Crystal Nolan is here. Hi, Jim and Lovities. Happy Saturday. I hope you're having a fantastic weekend. Looking forward to an exciting show with inspiring conversation and Lovity. Yes, Lovity. That's what it's all about. Anne is here from Southern California. Good to see you, Anne. Cheers to you. Happy weekend, everyone. Glad to be here with all of you today. We're happy when you're here as well, Anne in SoCal. June, back at you, my friends. So good to see you as well. And Wozniak, Jacksonville, Florida. Happy Saturday evening, Jim and Lovity family. Hope everyone is enjoying their weekend. Good to see you as well. Anne, we love having you here. Christine Clifton is here. Welcome, Christine. And her mom, who watches religiously as well in North Carolina. Hi, Jim and Lovities. Hi, June. Welcome, Stephen, to the show tonight. Cheers. What's in the glass? A little light Riesling. It's called Relax. Christine Clifton knows all about that because when I mentioned it, she ran out and she got some for herself. The lovely Lovities began in the summer 2020, over now a year being Lovities. That's right. We started the show in late April, early May of 2020. And then the summertime, the word Lovity slipped out of my mouth and you guys became our Lovity viewers. This show is very fun and calming and relaxing. Thank you very much, Alessandra. And Jane as well. Hello, all Lovities and King Lovity Jim. And we got cheers from Anne. Good stuff. Welcome, everybody. This is your place to come to relax, to have fun, whether you're watching live or you're watching later on in the archives. Everybody is welcome to join us. As I mentioned on the show tonight, actor, writer, narrator Stephen Dexter is joining me today. But talk about relaxing and chilling and just having a good time. That's a great shot, right? Oh, Christine says, yes, I love the relaxed Riesling wine. Thanks, Jim. Relax is fantastic. Sherry Larson knows about it. Keep a bottle in the fridge at all times. That's where ours was, in the fridge. Stephen is here, and Stephen, again, is a great talent. This is such a perfect shot, really, for our show, but take a look at this one here. That's the one we used in our on-air promotions. He's a professionally trained New York-based actor, writer, audiobook narrator, a native of Connecticut and New England. He received his BA in film studies from Central Connecticut State University before moving to New York City to attend the Stella Adler Studio of Acting, 3-year Dramatic Conservatory. Soon after graduating, he began performing and developing new work at the New York theater companies, such as Rattlestick Playwrights Theatre, New York Theater Workshop, the LAByrinth Theatre Company, Primary Stages, the new group, Playwrights Horizons, and the legendary Actors Studio, where he is a lifetime member. He also toured Japan and the United States with the acclaimed drama Hikobae, based on true stories of the 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami. On screen, Stephen has worked on Billions on Showtime, Living with Yourself for Netflix. You can also catch him this summer on the new seasons of Evil on Paramount Plus, and so much more. He's also appeared on Comedy Central, NBC Peacock, and their series Dr. Death, based on the hit True Crime podcast, a short film about the country's gun violence epidemic entitled American Morning. And we have a little clip from that we're going to show today. He wrote, produced, and starred in, also alongside Emmy winner Richard Schiff, who you know from The West Wing and The Good Doctor, those series, become an official selection of the legendary Oldenburg Film Festival in Germany, which is quite exciting. My pleasure to welcome him live and direct from New York City, Stephen Dexter. Stephen, welcome to the show.
Hello.
It's good to have you with us.
Hello, Jim. It's great to be here. Thank you.
Lots of levity coming your way from our audience here. Everybody's all excited, and it's a Saturday night, and you're all comfy there in your digs in New York City. And look at some of the levity coming your way. Hello, Stephen, and welcome from Mary in Florida.
Hi, Mary.
And then we have Alessandra, who's in North Carolina, says, welcome, Stephen.
Hi, Alessandra.
Anne welcomes you. Anne Wozniak is in Jacksonville.
Thank you.
Crystal is in your home state of Connecticut. She says, hi, Stephen. Welcome to Levity Hall. And yeah, good stuff. Thanks for all these welcomes and more coming in here. So how have you been? How, obviously for a lot of the artists, it's been a quiet time during the pandemic, but a lot of people have also found ways to be creative and stay connected. And I always ask the guests, how have you stayed connected and creative and sane? And usually when I say the sane part, the audience or the guest will say, I'm still working on that, Jim. Get back to me later on that.
I've been good. I mean, as things have begun to open up, and it just so happened that this was happening as the restrictions were being lifted and things in New York. I just went out last night with a friend I haven't seen in 2 years. We were supposed to see each other last year, and just so it was really, really wonderful. And to be able to go inside, it was my first experience inside a New York City bar without a mask.
Were you nervous?
It's like
different,
it's
right?
Very familiar. It's like I just did it, and then I haven't done this in 10 years.
Yeah. That's what I said. It's like Rip Van Winkle, like we've been asleep and now we're coming out of sleep and we have to get reacclimated to things that we've always done before. But it seems like we're learning for the first time. It's a really different experience, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a lot of fun. And then, once it's just the initial going there and having people, like bump into you and things like that, and all these things that you never really paid that much attention to before, but now you're like, a little bit. I'm so not used to human contact,
right,
anymore. But then it just kind of like it just flow, and by the end of the night, you're like, we're back. This is back, and it's been really nice because they kept a lot of the outdoor dining in Manhattan, so it has a very kind of like European feel. Yeah. Still, which is nice.
Absolutely. I want to talk about your growing up in Connecticut and some of the influences for you early on, maybe within your family, and who little Stephen Dexter was when he was running around, tapping the pots and pans, and he was pretending to be the actor and doing probably plays for the family and all that fun stuff we all did as kids. Who was Stephen Dexter, the kid growing up in Connecticut?
He's very similar to Stephen Dexter.
He's still growing up, but now in New York.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I was very I was very I loved performing. I loved attention. I loved to make people laugh. My sister and I would do a lot of Christmas pageants and holiday pageants, Easter pageants, or not really just these little scenes. And then whenever I would go to my mother's house, she had these really big brass vases that for some reason they were antiques, but she trusted me with them, and I would sing into them, and I would love to sing like Little Richard songs, Tutti Frutti. So that and because it got a lot of laughs and everything, and then that's kind of how the acting thing started. Was I was in kindergarten, and we had been rehearsing a, believe it or not, stage production of that we were going to be doing in the Continental Hall for the first and second graders. Because for kindergarten, I went to a private school through our church. It was just for that 1 year of Ghostbusters. We were doing a production of that. So they had a script and everything. And I was a huge Ghostbusters fan. So I had a lot of the toys. So I basically was the prop master in addition to playing, I think, Peter Venkman, who was Bill Murray's character. And so we had a script and everything, which, you know, I think later I'm like, a script for kindergartners. But we did, but I completely went up and I completely forgot it. And I just started improvising and I started making these like jokes about things. And I went totally off script and probably terrified the director and my other cast members. But I was getting so many laughs, getting so much attention that's usually what I can trace I think I would like to do this with my life. And there were a lot of other things that kind of came in. I was really interested in marine biology. We were talking about the Weather Channel before we went out. Like I saw Twister and I wanted to be a storm chaser. So I looked into that. But I just kept coming back to acting and everything. And then it wasn't until, so I did musicals in Connecticut, but then it wasn't until undergrad when I was at Central that I did Angels in America, which was a really serious, heavy thing. I still did not really have any formal training because I was not in the BFA. I was not in the theater program there. I was in the film, communications department. But I loved acting and I got cast as Joe Pitt, who's one of the leads. And that was the first moment of like, this is more than just getting attention. This is like the human connection and how deep you have to go in. And especially with a show like this is not, Little Shop. This is not in this, at the community, St. Michael's Hall in Naugatuck, like community theater. This is like, so that was a real baptism by fire. And I had a really great director who was basically saw a lot of things in me, a lot of good instincts that brought out, and was basically giving me acting classes on the fly, like while he was directing me. And he was wonderful. He gave me one of the best acting notes that I ever, because I respond well to, and this happened at Stella Adler when I went to drama school in New York as well. I like being challenged. There's something that when somebody says I can't do something or I don't think you can, that just really, that's like the last straw type of thing. And I remember when I was doing Angels in America and I was having a lot of trouble. We were working and reworking this really emotional scene over and over again, and I just couldn't get it. He said, he put down his pen, took off his glasses in the rehearsal room with the other actors there and the assistant directors, and said, it's not too late, Stephen. And I was like, what do you mean, Josh? And he said, we're only 2 weeks in. If you don't think you could do it. And I said, okay. And it was one of those moments of like, he's right. It's not too late if I think this is too much, or I can do this. I know I can do this. And the fact that he's basically like, we can get somebody else. That was the impetus. That was the fire that I needed. And then I just kind of flew from there. And I said, I can't mess around. If this is really what I want to do with my life, then I got to go where I need to go. And I got to trust him and trust myself. So that was a big moment that I sometimes think about, that I'm like, if I had said, you know what, Josh, maybe you're better off, where I would be, right now, would I have pursued it? So,
one of the biggest things you said that's so important, and to pause on it a little bit, is trusting in yourself. Because so many people, in all aspects of life, not even in these careers that you and I are in, we're in the public eye, but in life, we oftentimes will trust and listen to all these other voices, but we won't put stock in our own. And the only way that anything is going to really happen and stick is when you come to the point of really trusting your own voice, getting the feedback and getting the, the commentary and the support from everybody else is crucial. But then when you ingest it, it has to hit, here and here and go from there. And that's cool that it did for you. You took the time to really invest in yourself, which is very important, right?
Yeah, no, it's that was the biggest thing. And then it was only built upon when I went to formal drama school to the Adler Conservatory for 3 years, where it was just like you have to be able to trust yourself and your partner and the material, and your director and your teacher and things like that. It's because you're giving, it's a total, you are, it's cliche, but you are the instrument of, like, you're using all of yourself and all of your faculties and your past and your present and and your imagination. And so it's not easy, but then when you are able to get that fulfillment, I don't really know what it is, but it's that, I think it is that, like, that human connection where you're connecting to an audience if you're on stage, or when you really feel like you nailed something on screen and you watch it again once it, a take where you're like, that was the one. And it's something where it's like you're getting the energy from the audience, you're giving to them, and then there's something,
it's magical, isn't it?
Yeah, there's something unnameable that's coming from above.
It's like filtering through, like you're a conduit of this source of energy, whatever it is that, like you say, may come from up above somehow and filter through and out. And when everybody's on the same page and feeling the same thing, that communal experience, it could really be extraordinary. You can't even put it in words, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like,
it's very deep.
Yeah, musicians, when you just kind of get into this, Lawrence Fishburne said, like, the jazz, you're just playing jazz where you're like, I'm in something, and this just feels so right. And then the trick is to then be able to repeat that 8 times a week in a show on stage, or if you have to get it through a take with different setups and things like that, like, be able to get that every single time. But
that's right, exactly. So what would be like one of those earlier experiences for you? What would you say is that was a pivotal moment for you? What would be, then you took that baton and you ran with it. What else, Stephen, from there were some other moments that really started to, light up that trajectory of people recognizing you, appreciating your talent, and saying, this kid's got chops. Let's invest in him and bring him aboard on some of these projects.
Yeah, I think definitely once I got to New York and I did the at the Stella Adler studio, they have a summer program where I just because I finally decided I'm going to move to New York City. It was between New York and LA, and I was like, no, because all the acting schools and the better schools that I was interested in were in the city, where I feel like American acting really got its voice, its own unique, taking from the Stanislavski, and it kind of broke away from the presentational and got more truthful. And then out of that, the group theater with Stella Adler and Sanford Meisner and Lee Strasberg and Robert Lewis. And so I was reading all of their books while I was working 2 jobs. I worked at a bar in Hartford, and then I worked at a group home for 6 adolescent boys with different socio-behavioral disorders and differences. And so I was working those 2 jobs. And while I was working at the group home, which was 3rd shift, which is basically make sure all the boys get to bed, and then in the morning make sure they all get up and they get on the bus and go to school and everything. I was reading to stay awake, and also just like, okay, let me read Meisner's book, let me read Stella Adler, and there was something about Stella Adler's The Art of Acting that I was like, that's it, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
And then so I started doing my research and found out that, well, she died in 1992, but she still has her studio, or namesake, which is run by her grandson, and it still follows the tenets of her teachings coming from Stanislavski. And so I did their summer thing and was like, this is what I want to do. And so they had the 3-year program, the MFA equivalent program. I auditioned for that and got in, but I wasn't able to start until the following fall. So there was about a 10-month period where I was just in the city. So I got a job at a restaurant in the theater district, and then was also studying at the Terry Schreiber studio with Terry Schreiber, who was Edward Norton's teacher and Peter Sarsgaard. And then Louise Lasser, who was Mary Hartman, and she
Oh
was
yeah.
early Woody Allen.
Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman.
He was a phenomenal teacher. And so both of them were very mixed bag teachers. Terry's a great amalgam of a lot of different philosophies. Louise was more, it was Meisner training. So it was a lot of behavioral stuff. And so from those classes, just really getting a lot of support and things starting to click, carrying that confidence to, and having them really, like, you know, not they weren't easy on me. And I you know, you don't learn from that. You got to fail. You got to have some, you know, the discipline. So it was good to get, in addition to, you know, do it again. Nope. To finally getting, yeah, okay, now you're starting to get it. Drove me on to then go into Adler for the 3 years and then have the breakthroughs that I had there, where you finally connect to a scene, or you know, but it's such a well-rounded in the 3 years doing ballet and voice and speech and movement. And so a lot of the stuff that you may have a more of an aptitude for, like scene study or script interpretation, things like that. But a lot of it was, one of the big things that I forget sometimes is that I really became comfortable in my own body. I was doing the scene study, you know, you do scene study and character and script, all the nitty gritty acting stuff, but then to free up the relaxation and not even realizing until I got to Adler how much tension I carried with me in my, you know, and my jaw and my shoulder, where it's just like, you know, Stephen, do you realize that you're and then doing like, and then feeling that immediate, oh my God, like there was such an emphasis on body awareness and relaxation,
Breathing from the diaphragm and all of that.
Yeah, you know, from the public broadcast, it's the same thing, where it's just, you have to have that loose. And it's not just, I mean, a lot of it was because you have to hit the rafters, or you have to hit the back row of the Delacorte, Shakespeare in the Park, like outdoor theater, but not strain your voice.
Right.
But for me, it was all interconnected. That why can't I get this, you know, and just this time of being so in here and then letting it just drop in here and say, well, Stephen, you're the emotion has nowhere to go. It's getting trapped in your here. It's getting trapped here, or in my stomach, all the areas that are real, my bad tension points. And from somebody who had, you know, from early childhood, really bad anxiety and depression and things like that. It was such a, you know, I was going to therapy when I was in middle school, because it's middle school. You know, things are
it's
anyway.
You're caught in the middle.
Yeah. But when I got to Adler, I was like, I didn't need, for those 3 years that I was there, I didn't need any therapy. I didn't, because that's what it was. It was serving that purpose.
That's great.
And now I practice, you know, talk about like maintaining the sanity. I practice transcendental meditation,
which is terrific.
Every day, which is just such a nice, I do it first thing I do when I wake up, and it's just a great way to
balance. And you got to find the balance. Exactly. Life really is about balance and finding those harmonious moments, right? Because we're in these industries that are so unpredictable and fast paced and demand a lot of our mind, body, spirit, physicality, our time, our attention, our emotion. So then, you know, you got to find ways to sort of balance that out somehow. And sometimes, you know, in those early years when we're gunning forward, we don't take the time to do that, because we're doing the next thing and signing up for that, saying yes to that. And we've got all these things going on. But then as time goes on and you become more seasoned, you realize, well, you know, what am I doing it all for? I'm doing it so I can have those moments where I can breathe and enjoy and, you know, smell the roses and look at the sunset and just find out who I am as a person. So it's good that you know that, and you take the time to do that. Transcendental meditation is very popular too. A lot of people talking about it. And for me also, the ocean, I go to the ocean. You know, you grew up here on the coast, you know, you're here from New England originally, and New York, the ocean is nearby. It's not like you're in the middle of the country and you have exposure to the ocean. The ocean is, for me, is a go-to place as well, just to, you know, see the sunrise and set, and just, you got to drag me out of it. I'm always in it, swimming, surfing, doing something. So I reference the ocean a lot as a Zen place. Do you have a Zen place. The Transcendental Meditation would be some great Zen moments. Do you have a place you go to that provides Zen, whether it is the ocean or it's the forest or wherever it may be, top of a mountain?
It's for me, I mean, you know, I mean, like you were saying, like when you're in the urban jungle, you kind of have to, and you don't have the, and because we're in such a fast paced, you know, you audition for something and you book something really quick, and it's, you know, you're shooting on in 2 days, or you auditioned for something 2 months ago that you were like, all right, and then all of a sudden, hey, you got that, by the way, and it starts in 2 days. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you kind of try to find your little escapes in the city. I'm not very close to Central Park, being in Astoria, so I'm right over the East River. But I do live by Astoria Park, so going there is really, really nice, and it's right by the East River.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Triborough Bridge, Hellgate Bridge.
so I mean, talk about I'm not so much of an early riser, but the sunsets are so beautiful, and and it's that cotton candy, beautiful and it's so nice, especially now, because you'll see I run along the river. During COVID they closed down this street to cars. It used to be open to cars, but now it's just for pedestrians, and so it's amazing, right next to the river. And I would get there with this, I would start running with the sun still up, and then run for, you know, do a couple laps, and then all of a sudden the sun starts going down, and you see like everybody in the park moving toward the river, toward the railing, so that they get their pictures, and you see the young couples like kissing, and the little kids and watching the sunset.
It's like a movie.
Exactly.
Movie set. Yeah.
So that's a really, really nice experience that I try to time it so that I can have that, and then all of a sudden the sun's down and everybody kind of disperses. But that, and then my parents now live up in Sunderland, Vermont, which is not too far from Manchester. So going up there, which I'm doing next month, at the end of next month, to work on a new screenplay. But they're right between it's the Green Mountains and the Berkshires. So they have Mount Equinox is right outside their window, and just sitting in their backyard.
Brattleboro and all those areas. And
they love that. Bennington, they're always
Bennington, just north of Massachusetts. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So they're right over the border. But it's so funny because they, you know, whenever I go up with my fiance and they're like, you know, so we have a whole day, you know, like, what do you guys want to do? And we're like, we are honestly just want to sit in the backyard.
Oh yeah.
And you're constantly go, like maybe we'll go out to dinner, but we're so content with just being in the quiet.
It's a perfect thing. Sometimes it's funny, family will tease me. They're like, oh my God, when you get in the car with Jim, you never know where you're going to end up. And sometimes, you know, because we're in these fields where a lot of things are scripted, a lot of things are rehearsed, a lot of things are prepared. I do a lot of live, so a lot of things are not necessarily scripted or prepared. It depends on what the scenario is. Like this show, we shoot the breeze and we just have fun with it. But you get in the car with me, and there's been times where we've taken the car, and in the same day we've driven through, you know, Connecticut, New York, Massachusetts, up through Vermont, over to New Hampshire, and then coming through Boston, and then a little bit of Rhode Island, circling back and stopping off at little places, like these little places where you can get like a piece of apple crumb cake and a hot cider, and a woman named Frida comes out in an apron up in Vermont, says, hey, how are you? Would you like a piece of my apple crumb pie? It just came out of the oven, and some hot apple cider. And then we're taking photos, and it's in fall and the foliage, and just really, you know, just driving through. It's really fantastic to get away and to do that, and to and everybody in the car will be saying, where are we going? Where are we headed? And I'm like, we'll have music, like instrumental music going too. So it's like I'm orchestrating some sort of a movie or something, you know, typical host. We'll have all the instrumental music going, and they're like, where are we going? And I'm like, I have no idea. We'll go wherever the car takes us. And I find those moments some of the best, where it isn't scripted. We don't know where we're going, and we come back where we've all experienced it equally at the same time, and it was all fresh and new. Nothing was planned, nothing was timed, nothing was prepackaged. And I think that's some of the best in life, right?
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, that's what I used to do when I first got my license, because I don't have a car. I sold my car so I could put a down payment on my apartment when I moved to New York. But that's what I love to do on the weekends, because that's what my parents would do. They both worked full time, so they took full advantage of the weekends of packing all these activities, and we very rarely knew, my sister and I, where we were going to go. And it's the same thing. Like we would go to, the playgrounds in Litchfield, or new ones in New York, up to the Woodstock area and New Paltz, which is around where my dad went to school. Sometimes to Massachusetts, sometimes down to the shore, like Norwalk, or that we'd end up at Mystic or Maritime,
or Hammonasset and Madison. Or
so it was always an adventure, and it was a wonderful way to, going on hikes and things like that. It was a wonderful way to spend time with them, because I didn't see my sister and I went to daycare after school until we got to the age where we didn't need. I'd come home first, and they could trust me. And my dad started working from home, but when I started driving, that was what I just kept up doing that when I was spending more time with my friends and my girlfriend at that time, but I never forgot that sense of adventure of where are we gonna go today, to the point when I got a little bit older and I was like, okay, well, the day trips are great for when I'm taking my girlfriend out. But with my guy friends, because none of us drank or did drugs, or we weren't really into the partying, we were more the drama, goofy kids. And I drove. I was one of the older ones, because I was born in January. We would go out at night and just get lost. Like, we would intentionally go on back roads and making sure that we had a full tank of gas. I think I was a member of AAA then. So we were okay, but we would drive around, and if we found cemeteries, we would go into the cemeteries. We always brought a video camera with us. That was like our thrill. That was like our getting drunk on a Friday or a Saturday night. Like, we would go and get this adrenaline rush because we all were so fascinated with the paranormal, because the Warrens, Lorraine Warren, who the Conjuring, that whole thing is based on. They were from Connecticut, so they spoke a lot, and I loved seeing them whenever they came around.
Did you go up to Salem, Massachusetts?
I did.
Yeah.
That was a high school trip.
Yeah.
But that was cool. But we went to Guntown, and we would do research about haunted, and we went to Easton, Connecticut, where the Union Cemetery and the White Lady of Union Cemetery, and so it was just a lot of fun. Where it's it's not totally legal. We'd have to make sure we
were investigating for historical purposes.
Exactly.
You were doing investigative work for a homework assignment.
Exactly. This was just
research. It's all research.
Yeah,
that's right. I'm in that underground bunker with my buddies in Ridgefield, because we're doing some research for a project.
Nothing more. Move along.
For my, I'm in junior high school, but it will be for my 4th year of college thesis.
Yeah, exactly.
Sherry says cemeteries are great to wander around. She prefers the day, though.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Did you hear any movement or any sounds while you were in?
There was one.
There was no Night of the Living Dead scenes or anything, was there?
No. There was one pretty creepy, and I've been trying to see if my friend who filmed it, if he can find the tape, because there were voices that we picked up one time when we were in Union Cemetery, and it was one of the it really made my skin crawl, and he doesn't have the tape. But see, he was in video production. He had a public access sketch comedy show.
Oh yeah.
So he had this. So I'm like, if that was really, really paranormal evidence,
you could have people study it and sort of dissect it.
Yeah, or he would have it. That's something you keep.
That's something you keep.
it leads me to believe that maybe he was messing with us, because he was also an actor. So I'm like, did he fool around with something and then say, because I remember getting the call, like, Stephen, you got to come, like when we were filming, because we didn't hear anything with just our ears, but that's a lot of what they say. Like, you know, you get the tape recorder, or things show up on a video camera that the sensitivity of the mics, you can't see them with the naked eye or with your ears. And he called me, and I came over, and he's like, now he turned it up really loud, and I put my ear next to the speaker, and I heard like voices like singing. And then of course we like brought everybody, like, oh my God, you got to come over to Ian's, like, and everybody was like, and we could not explain it. Because, you know, of course you're like, no.
Yeah, right.
You try to maintain that,
not happening, right?
Yeah, level of skepticism. But then when he's like, oh, I don't know where that is, I'm like, all right, if this was really serious, you hold on to that as like, this is important, not like, oh, I don't know what happened to it. So it leads me to believe, did you use
there might have been a little bit of trickery there.
Fun with everybody. Yeah.
Anne says that she taught her granddaughter to drive in the cemetery. I would imagine, Anne, your instruction was probably dead on.
Ooh,
but
yeah. Just avoid the headstones.
Right. Thanks for sharing the life and career, being so open, enjoyable conversation. We actually have a couple of cool photos here as well, with some cool people you've had an opportunity to work with and be involved with. Tell us about this one.
So this was when I worked.
Chris Rock, right?
Yep, that's Chris Rock and Joe Morton, who won an Emmy as Papa Pope on Scandal, but I mean, started all the way back with Brother from Another Planet, and Terminator 2 was how I got starstruck when I met him. And then John Carlin, who's an amazing actor and musician, also worked on it. This was an off-Broadway show at the West Side Theater in 2017, I think, 16 or 17, called Turn Me Loose, which was produced by John Legend and Mike Jackson, and was about the life of Dick Gregory, the stand-up.
Oh, yeah. Right.
So we had a lot of great guests that came. That was the night, obviously, that Chris Rock came, and Shonda Rhimes came to see it. Harry Belafonte and Cicely Tyson. She rested in peace, but they came, and it was a really wonderful.
The who's who of everybody. Yeah.
It was a great experience. And Joe, it was basically a one-man show. But Joe played Dick Gregory, and he was phenomenal, because he went from he's in his 70s. Believe it or not, you never ever know it if you saw him, but he played Dick Gregory from his mid-20s all the way up until his 80s. It like spanned the breadth of his life and his career. And Joe it was a masterclass. It was such a pleasure to work with him on that and watch it every night, watch him work.
Ellen Bernstein,
yeah, she is phenomenal. So this is from a production of The Last Days of Judas Iscariot, which was a Stephen Adly Girgis play that we did off-Broadway at the Ellen Stewart Theater at La Mama downtown. And Ellen Burstyn is the one of the co-artistic directors, I believe, of the Actors Studio. So this was an Actors Studio production with myself in character. I think this was before the show. And then Gabe Furman, who played Judas, is with the big beard, and then Michael Billingsley, who's an amazing actor who played Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
nice resemblance. And then Javier Molina, who played Satan, who was really, really great. And then Deborah Dixon, who basically runs a lot of the administrative stuff at the Actors Studio. But yeah, she was wonderful. That was a great night. That night, the mayor declared it the Actors Studio Day, March. That day, that was our opening night. So Ellen was there, and other members of the board, and Estelle Parsons.
You know who I miss too, and this number of people have said that the feeling of the way I do this show, I mentioned Dick Cavett, Johnny Carson, some of the legends, tying into the Actors Studio, is James Lipton.
Yeah. That's what I feel. Yeah.
One of the best, and greatly missed. And did you ever have an opportunity to run into him over the time?
I did not. He worked a lot with Pace, and he worked a lot in cultivating that Actors Studio program, which was the Live from the Actors Studio was all that's what that was all for. The now your class has begun at the very end. Now here are your students and asking questions. But yeah, he was really, really great. But I don't know if he worked so much at the actual studio, which is still on West 44th Street between 9th and 10th. They closed down because of COVID, obviously, and they really did a great job of like adapting and doing a lot of Zoom online classes and things like that. But that was another one of those moments of being accepted for lifetime membership into the Actors Studio, which was, I mean, you want to talk about inspirations when I was young. I mean, I grew up with Montgomery Clift and Paul Newman and later like Kim Stanley and Marlon Brando and I
Jack Lemmon
and Geraldine Page, all these powerhouses of drama, and I got involved with that. I was doing a night of scenes from group theater plays. I was involved in a company at that time. I think I was still in school. I was finishing up a drama school, and it was a company that was dedicated to the group theater plays that were kind of lost, is what they said, which is basically everything that Odets didn't write, because Clifford Odets, who was their playwright actor, was the one who kind of, Awake and Sing and Waiting for Lefty. And it was kind of like a benefit for this company. And I was paired with Estelle Parsons for a scene from Awake and Sing. And we did it at Symphony Space in right by Lincoln Center. And we were rehearsing at her apartment. And then she was like, well, my apartment's going to be, cleaned or we're renovating or something. So for our next rehearsal, let's meet at the studio. And I was thinking that she was saying, like one of the many, many just studio spaces that she had like rented. And then she gave me the address, and I was like, wow, I didn't know that there was a studio there. And it was the Actors Studio. And I was floored because I didn't know that it was still around in that capacity. I thought that it was inside the Actors Studio and the drama program. But I walked in there and I was like, oh my God, there's the Paul Newman Library. And we went and we rehearsed up in the theater with the famous brick wall, because it was a church, until Strasberg and Shel Crawford, until they all, the Harold Klerman, the founders of the Actors Studio, purchased it and converted it. And so after we were done rehearsing, I said, so I was like, I have to plead, ignorance on this, but we're still around? She said, yes. She said, see, that's the problem, is that people think for the longest time, they kind of had this like Willy Wonka's factory type, no one ever goes in, no one ever comes out. Like it was just kind of, and so now they're in a really, really wonderful place of transitioning and getting a lot of new blood and diverse voices and things like that, because they realize that, Ellen Burstyn, Estelle Parsons, Pacino is still very much involved, Harvey Keitel and Alec Baldwin. Like there are a lot of great, amazing, but they're all getting up there in age and are really, really busy. So it's been great to see how they're designing the program to sustain itself and to not just be a museum, which it could have the risk of becoming. It's just like, remember when it used to be like, but I like to think of it as the best years are yet to come. So It's been wonderful. It's been so nurturing for different younger up and coming playwrights and directors and actors. It's very much more diverse group than I think it's ever been.
Speaking of the younger, tell us about this cool shot.
So this was after we had wrapped on the classroom scene for American Morning, for the film that I wrote and co-produced and starred in as a elementary school music teacher. This was my class. This was Mr. Mathis's class. So these are all the amazing child actors that we put together for the classroom, and we shot everything, I think 9 pages in one day with kids, which is a Herculean feat.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at the expression of the kid in the front. He's cute.
The funny thing about this kid is Gavin Berman, I think is his name. We cast him because he was so quiet, and the character in the film is very, very kind of introverted. He's kind of the same age as the other kids, but you see that he's smaller, and he was just such a sweetheart and so shy. that were like, he's perfect. He's perfect for the role of Stephen. But then his real personality, when he got comfortable being on set and he got comfortable with all the other kids, like, he was best friends. He was dancing around. He was the one that we had to like wrangle. Of like, like, Gavin, we got to get this stuff, because we were all the parents were there, and we we can't shoot for longer than a number of hours, and we have to take things like that. So, but it was so funny that he just, I mean, you don't see it on screen. He's still he plays the character that we cast him as, but as soon as we the director called cut, he was such a cut up. It was so funny. But they were all wonderful. They were all very well behaved, very, very talented, took the very, very serious.
Tell us about that. Yeah, tell us about this movie. Congratulations on this short film. It does tackle a very relevant and poignant topic that's in the news. And we have a little clip of you, I believe, with Robert conversing. But tell us about this. I know it's near and dear to your heart, having written, starred, produced all of it, but it's something that really is in the news and touching our lives almost daily in an unfortunate way.
And that's kind of where it came from, is that it came from a real deep place of anger and profound sadness and helplessness. And
I was going to say, did Newtown have any impetus for you to want to do this as well, being not far from where Sandy Hook and Newtown is?
That was a big inspiration. It isn't that story. I wouldn't presume to tell that story, but it takes a lot of elements from different. I consulted a lot of different sources and things like that. My own struggles with this thing, but that was the big one that I really feel broke something in me. I mean, I remember being, young when Columbine happened, and it really, really scaring me. But when Sandy Hook happened, that just really broke something. The actual tragedy itself, and the aftermath, and what it did to my small, hometown state, and the fact that that place was, Newtown is 25 minutes from where I grew up. Was the inaction, was the fact that nothing really changed on the federal level.
Still really hasn't.
No. And so that was where, that was really the impetus for that. They're like, okay, I've protested, I've marched, I've donated, I've done all these things, I've voted, I've done as much as I could, but what more can I do? And so, you just go to like, well, this is what I know screenwriting, I know storytelling and things like that. So let me try to take this pain and put it in this anger and everything, and put it up on the screen and see how I can do it. But it's interesting of how far that story came from its original. The ending was very, very different. It was very, very vicious. I mean, originally it was a much more, I still think it's a pretty brutal film, but we wanted to be careful and sensitive to the fact that you don't want to show too much, and you also don't want to ask kids to do. I mean, the audition process was I was so nervous about it, and we had to, explain to these kids what this was about, and what they'd be doing. And it was kind of helpful, but at the same time almost even more tragic, that a lot of the kids were just like, oh yeah, okay. Like I kind of went into it of like,
almost like they're so used to hearing about it and seeing it on TV.
They'd have their active shooter drills and things like that, and it was almost like they were consultants, because I'm not in school anymore. So I mean, I remember we did have a few active shooter drills and things like that after Columbine, but nowhere near as frequent as I think they are, like fire drills now.
Where was it filmed? What was the setting?
We did it in the city. We shot it in the city. We shot it at a private school in Brooklyn. That was really, really wonderful, very supportive about, because we had the look that we had, and then, accessibility of, we needed a really long hallway for the opening shot. And then the classroom, we needed it to look a certain way, but the art department and the production on a shoestring budget, really, really, when I look at the before and after pictures of the music room and what it was, how the kind of classroom that it is. It's a pretty standard classroom when it's not with, just regular desks and things like that. And they really made it this warm elementary school, like very welcoming. And I look at the artwork, the decor, and it's funny because when you're acting in it, you're so focused on like the character, and all that stuff. And I'm the writer, so I got to make sure like the kids are good with the lines and everything. And so it's not until I saw the film that I noticed a lot of things. I was like, oh my God, I didn't even know that they put those signs up with the instruments and the posters and things like that. And still I'll go back and I'll watch it and be like, they're so good. They're so good because they make it look so realistic.
So realistic. And the fact that Robert Schiff, who again we know from The Good Doctor, West Wing, I mean, all of these great, prolifically incredible shows, to get him on board as well must have been extraordinary. Matter of fact, we have a clip of you and Robert conversing. And again, you play the role of the music teacher, and Robert's role.
Richard's role is the father.
Richard. Yeah, Richard. Yeah, I keep saying Robert. Richard Schiff. Yeah.
Yeah, he plays my father. So my character has the tragedy happened 2 years before the film. This clip takes place, and so I've quit teaching and I've moved back in with him.
Yeah.
So this is
And it was great getting Richard on board too. Here we go. Here's Richard Schiff and Stephen Dexter in this very poignant scene.
So how are things?
Things are fine. Could be better, could be worse.
It's been 2 years now.
Yep.
I'm there for you.
I know.
And man, it's been so good having you back. I've really enjoyed that. Life happens, and things, you gotta figure it out.
Yeah, no, I know, Dad. I'm sorry. I appreciate this. I just, I'm getting better. I am, day by day.
You're not alone. I just want you to know that. You've never been alone. There's a lot of people out there.
I'm sorry, I gotta go to sleep because I gotta be up early and it's like you said, it happens and this happened and it happens all the time, and this one was just mine. So I know I know what I need to do.
Very moving. So this is well after when the event took place in the school, and you're still wrangling with the after effects of it all.
Yeah.
And that Richard plays, which again, people recognize from The West Wing and The Good Doctor and so much more. A brilliant actor, playing your dad, trying to comfort you in that scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he doesn't know. The father-son relationship is so interesting, and especially when you get to like the adult stage and you're basically like contemporaries, and there's an elephant in the room, and there's something that you really want to talk to your son about, but it's hard to, especially with something like this. He really has to pussyfoot around and not push. And then there's the whole big crux of the film is what Connor has resigned to do to try to make change, and he's all but made up the decision that this is what he's going to do, and it's one of those, like, the father comes up really late at night and wants to have this conversation, and so it's a real I can't do this right now. I wanted something to really show that kind of relationship, and also show the conflict of, could he have made his son change his mind, and how he just kind of shuts it down. He says, no, I don't really want to change my mind. But just that dance without him coming out and just being direct, but just kind of speaking in these generalities about something's wrong. I know that this is a tough time because the anniversary, and but you've been staying out, walking late a lot, and riding the subway, and just kind of a check-in. But little does he know that this is a very pivotal night. This could be the last time that he sees him.
So the movie, tell us again the title and where can people see the movie? Again, it's a very touching, poignant, relevant movie dealing with this very sensitive subject, school shootings and gun control, everything wrapped into it in very beautifully, executed way. Where could people eventually see this?
So right now we're doing the festival thing. So
and it's been recognized too, right? Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. We just got into Oldenburg. That'll be our international premiere.
Germany,
Germany, at the Oldenburg Film Festival, and we actually just found out. I haven't even posted anything about this on social media or anything.
But we've got a graphic for that. World premiere exclusive on the Jim Masters Show Live.
We just got accepted into Dances with Films, which is the Los Angeles, a really, really big festival out in Los Angeles. That's at the Chinese Theater.
Yeah,
is where they screen there, and into the Rhode Island International Film Festival. So those two will be coming up in. I think Rhode Island is in August, and it's kind of a hybrid. They chose to do the mixed virtual and in person, but I believe Dances with Films is all in person, which is great. So that'll be out in Los Angeles, and then Rhode Island International, and then we'll be we're going to try to figure out it's a little bit different with a short film than with a feature. So we're going to see if we can. A lot of the streamers have been championing and showcasing short films recently. We've noticed, especially hot button, like socially conscious issues and things like that. So we're going to see how we do at the film festivals. We're going to try to get a lot of attention and get some traction that way, so that maybe we can then parlay that into getting the film onto a streaming service for the mass audiences. But we're also ultimately, because it's the reason we made this is for the different organizations, and I've spoken with the founders of Survivors Empowered, which was an organization that was co-founded by the parents of a young girl who was killed in the Aurora shooting, which just had its 9-year tragiversary, so they were very, very moved by the film. They're the first people that have seen it who are actual survivors who lost someone in a mass shooting that I know of. And I had a really, really beautiful conversation with them recently, and they asked, well, what can we do for you? And I said, well, no, it's what can we do for you? So they had talked about like possibly doing an arts festival. They travel a lot. So I said, once we've had our premiere and everything, and we are free to just show this film wherever we want, I would love for you to incorporate it if you want to, and any money raised would go towards your organization. Same thing where if we do get any money from licensing it or selling it to any of the streamers, is that we wouldn't keep any of that. We didn't make any money making the film. We weren't paid. It was just a real labor of love. The crew and you had to pay some people, but we wanted to make sure that like this is not some sort of like capitalizing on people's pain and exploiting, that this really came from a place of wanting to help in any way that we can. So so we're hoping that that's ultimately what it will be, is that these different organizations can use it if they so choose. But then once we do the festival thing, then we'll try to figure out if we can post it on public on YouTube, and then there'll be links and social media and things.
And all the right. Well, keep us posted on that. Congratulations. I know it's been a labor of love, and it can be quite emotional, but it has a message and a story to tell, and wish you lots of luck with that. And I would imagine too, you've had days sometimes that are with anything that you do, Stephen, like we all do. It's called living, it's life. You have days where things are fantastic, and then you have days like this.
Oh my God. That was actually a pretty fantastic.
Tell us about this.
That was
cool.
That was a photo shoot that I did with a photographer friend of mine who wanted to try out. He had these ideas of like, I want to put
very artsy.
Yeah, I want to put masks or material or things like that on you. And I was like, oh, okay. That was a lot of fun. That was glitter and that was chocolate. There were others with like a mask that he used that I don't think he ended up like publishing. But the only thing about that was a little bit made it kind of a hard day is it was so hot that day. That was on his roof.
Oh my God.
He had one of those the New York City it's like sprayed chrome.
Oh yeah,
reflecting the sun. So that's why the chocolate, like he put in, and it was one of those like, we got to get this quick
because it's melting.
Yeah. But that was fun. He was totally game, and oh yeah,
that's a cool shot.
So that's Paul Rudd and I. That was when I worked on Living with Yourself. I worked on that for the whole length, the duration of the shoot, as Paul's acting partner. They hired me. I auditioned. I did some screen tests with Paul early on in New York, and then because if you're not familiar with the show, he creates a clone of himself that kind of goes awry, and the clone, the clone, they're supposed to get rid of the clone and or supposed to get rid of the original, keep the clone, which is a better version of the person, but there's a mishap, and so there's two versions of Paul Rudd. And so when we were rehearsing and things like that, we would work out the scenes together. And then when we would get on the set, he did most of the stuff by himself, but it was interesting because there were a lot of times where I would I had just spent so much time working with him that, you start to take on like, okay, this is how he's doing the character and everything. And so as we started to gel a little bit more, I would be on set and do the lines of the other Miles, I think was the name, of the other Paul Rudd, so for the one that they were shooting off screen. Or it was really cool working with the VFX team and the sound team, is that he would record one side of his lines, get into they had new Miles and old Miles, get into either new Miles or old Miles, and I had an iPad and I had an earpiece and he had a little earpiece, and I would be right off camera and I would hit his lines. He could hear the other side and he would act to a lot of times nothing. He didn't use a stand-in. He was such an amazing guy. And that was another just like master class. He was doing this thing that he had never done before, and he was so good at it. And to see just how quick VFX could blend the things together, because they had to do some like tests to make sure that they could pull this off for Netflix, to say like, all right, can we do this? And before even really investing in sitting down and doing it, just kind of on the fly, doing these special effects. And there were so many amazing accidents where he would do one half and he'd have like an eye line, and then do the other, but just like a tennis ball, like the eye line. But then they put him together, so it's him and him in the car, and they would turn at the same time, and it was just coincidence. And it was just, or like he would like reach or something, and when he reached, the other would look down, but how would he know that? It was just really cool. And the excitement it was Valerie Ferris and Jonathan Dayton, who were Little Miss Sunshine. They directed every episode, and it was just so cool to be a part of that, because they had never done a movie like, or used special effects like that before. So it was just so cool that everybody was learning as they went, and to be there from the very beginning, working in the Netflix studios, like rehearsing, blocking out the scenes and everything, and then working with him and going all the way to the wrap party. It was a wonderful experience, and he's a really nice guy.
Cool stuff. Great adventures, great experiences that you've had and continue to have, Stephen. What are some other cool things you're working on coming up?
Well, the audiobooks. I am a audiobook narrator for Audible and Macmillan and Penguin Random House, Tantor, a lot of best-selling audiobooks and authors that I've worked with. So a lot of that stuff coming out. I've been very lucky to be able to tell a lot of different stories. predominantly romance has been my bag. I have the
field of expertise.
yes, I did. I never read a romance novel in my life, and could have been content to live my whole life. And but Audible sent me one and said, if you're interested, and I did it, and it became a pretty big hit. And then after that, I was just like, this is fun. It's cool that I'd never done this before. And then just realizing how emphatic the fans are, how big a genre it is, because I read a lot of like sci-fi and classic literature and things like that that I should have read in high school. I'm reading now.
But the romance novel,
it's big.
They are like Lovities too. They're very staunch supporters. They're like the soap opera crowd too.
Yeah.
The soap opera fans have always been very, very loyal to all the soap operas.
Yeah, but the characters, the like you are the voice of this character. That means that this could be a 6-book series, and you are just established as that. That's the voice now.
Have you ever been recognized in a supermarket or something? Wait, his voice sounds like that character.
No, it's funny because there's a certain just like with any kind of character, there's aspects of yourself, but it's not your complete personality. So it's funny when I do like podcasts and interviews, things like this on specific romance book sites and Facebook groups and Instagram, things like that. I'm a lot more animated than I am when I'm in that booth. So it is kind of a different voice. So a lot of times they're like, wow, like only once in a while can I hear
little aspects of the voice, right?
It's different than when I'm right here next to the mic and I'm trying to be sensual, and it's different. So that I worked on an episode of Dr. Death that just dropped on NBC Peacock. And then I did an episode of Evil, as you mentioned earlier.
And thinks it should be on Hallmark.
I've auditioned for some of them. Those would be a lot of fun, especially because a lot of the romance novels are now being adapted
for television, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
It's a bit with first it was 50 Shades and then Bridgerton.
Yeah.
Now everybody's like, ooh, so there's a lot of, it's funny when I see these breakdowns from my reps, or I'll get auditions. I'm like, oh my God, I haven't auditioned for anything that I actually narrated, but for authors, I'm just like, oh my God, they're doing that and they're making that into a movie or a series. It's really cool.
That's cool. So life is good.
It is. Yeah, I got a lot of. I've been very, very lucky, very grateful.
Yeah, that's cool. So cool things happening. Really, really fantastic. Get an opportunity to explore some of your passions and your enthusiasm. And we'll have to have you back. I know you got to scoot off, but it was really a pleasure having you here. And I hope the show met whatever expectations you had, my friend. And you enjoyed the time with me as much as I certainly have with you.
Yeah, this was wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it was my pleasure.
This really does have a really comfortable vibe to it. It's unlike any interview that I've done before. So I appreciate that.
I appreciate that. And somebody that just wants to send you his best. He's sort of my sidekick. He's here every night with me. Mr. George Burns is in the house.
Oh my God.
That's the reaction I get. I love it.
Wow.
Everybody's surprised when I whip him out. He's here and he said, you did good, kid.
What? Say goodnight, Gracie. Yeah.
He's got a cigar and everything.
That is amazing. Is that an old antique? Or?
This is an actual real. I shouldn't really be holding it like this. It's a collectible and got the certificate of authenticity. This is my Aunt Lillian's, who actually lived in West Hartford, Connecticut.
Okay.
And she collected dolls, and this got passed down to me by my cousin Barbara, who is in Newington. And this came out when George turned 100.
Wow.
It was a collector's situation, limited supply collectors. So he's supposed to be wrapped in a special box, not really touched. But I did some childhood nostalgic type thing last year in the earlier days of this series, and I put him on, and everybody fell in love with George. So now sometimes I'll surprisingly bring him out at the end, and
That's
the guests
great.
will be like, "Oh my God, George Burns! There he is. He played God in the movies. Oh yeah."
That's
So he said you did good, kid.
Oh, thank you, George.
You got George and God on your side. Not too bad.
Yeah, be worse.
A couple of quick comments from the Lovities here. Thank you, Stephen, for sharing this time with us on a Saturday evening. Very enjoyable from Ann in Jacksonville, Florida. And on the other side of the country, on the West Coast in SoCal, she says, thanks for joining us, Stephen. Welcome to the family. Sherry Larson in Kansas. Thank you, Stephen, for a wonderful evening. Alessandra in North Carolina says, you are now part of the Lovity family. That's fantastic. And thank you, Stephen. It was a wonderful show. Well, I say that to all the guests. I say, there's Oscars, Emmys, Tellys, Peabodys, Grammys, Tonys. But when you are deemed a Lovity on the Jim Masters Show Live, that's tough to top, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the epitome.
You worked all your life just for this moment, and I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, that's it. That's it. Turn the fans on. He's getting all flush. Spread the word about our show. Let's stay connected. Hope to see you in person, whether in Connecticut or in New York.
Yeah.
That would be cool at a function or something going on. I'm sure it's a very small world. We know a lot of the same people. And well, I like this. I wonder, has a movie this is Jane, who watches us in Sweden live every day. A movie like about Jim and the Lovity family. Oh, that would be cool.
Wow.
And Jane says, thank you, Stephen, for visiting with us. And again, she's in Sweden, where it's very, very late.
Yeah. Oh,
that's a real Lovity. You be well, my friend. Have a great rest of your night. Thanks for all the time. And let's stay in touch. I wish you continued success in everything you're doing. And again, I hope you enjoyed the time with me as much as I have with you, Stephen.
I have. Have a wonderful night. And thank you so much, everybody, for watching. This is great.
It's a pleasure. All right. You take care. All right.
Take care.
Ciao. Bye-bye now. Stephen Dexter, live from New York City, joining us here on the show. Thank you very much, June, XOXOXO. Thanks, everybody, for joining us as well. Always a pleasure. And we appreciate Stephen being with us on the show. Some cool photos here that we showed earlier. All the different looks, all the different folks he's had an opportunity to work with. And that new movie that's coming out, too, that he's working, that short film that he's working on. We appreciate Stephen, and we thank Stephen for joining us as my special guest on the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. Want to let you know, too, we have some amazing guests coming up next week on Monday. Brilliant actress and voice artist Kathy Searle is going to be with us. We also have coming up next week Cynthia Strauss, another award-winning actress. And we also have actor Brian Childers joining us next week, and many, many more guests. That is just the short list of guests that will be joining us coming up next week on the Jim Masters Show Live. We will not be here tomorrow. We are off for the day with family and friends. It's Sunday, Family Day. We will be back on Monday with Kathy Searle, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, for those who follow and watch us live. So those who are watching us live right now, don't forget you can see this episode again and all the episodes of the Jim Masters Show Live right here on our YouTube channel in the archives. So if you joined us late, you want to see this episode again, or you want to show it to family and friends, or you want to see any of the episodes of our series gang, they're all there for you. Over 430 of them now, 24/7, 365, right here at our home, which is the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Don't forget to subscribe, click the notification bell so you never miss any of our upcoming episodes, and tell everybody about our series. We would absolutely love that. If you enjoyed this episode, give us a thumbs up like on our YouTube channel underneath this video and this episode, and leave a comment for us as well. We would absolutely love that. Thanks, gang. You guys are absolutely the best. Always a pleasure to have you here with us. Hope you enjoyed the show and our very special guest. And always thanks for watching the Jim Masters Show Live. And again, our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, a channel dedicated to entertaining, informing, educating, and inspiring. We hope you'll take a look at all the other great things we have on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Don't forget to smile. Don't forget to share the levity. Find your Zen place. Mine is with family and friends. Also, I love cycling and music and writing and gardening and sports and tennis. And of course, the ocean, swimming, surfing, boogie boarding, sailing it, and so much more. And my work in television, radio, film, and stage, on air, on camera, behind the scenes. Love it all. That's another Zen place as well. So, gang, we're going to wrap for tonight. This was awesome. Amazing guests here on our Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. Alessandra says, night, Jim and Lovely family. See you all on Monday. You too, Alessandra. And good night, Jim and Lovely family. Great show with Stephen. Till next time, we'll catch you on the next one. We'll be back on Monday. Thank you, Jim, for another great live show. Thank you, Jane, there in Sweden. Love it, love it, love it. Any idea what we're going to do for New Year's Eve? We're still wrapping last New Year's Eve. No idea yet. Usually we're in Florida with family at that time, so we'll have to see. Thank you, Jim. Enjoy your Sunday with your family. Thank you very much. You guys have a wonderful Sunday as well. Ann says, love the show. Thanks for being you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Boom, 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 boom. That means a lot from Lovety Ann in Southern California. Also, Ann in Florida. Good night, Jim, and everyone. You as well. Alessandra says, that was amazing. Thank you very much. I appreciate all this levity and the comments and the support and all the Instagram messages and all the great commentary that's happening on our Facebook page, JMS Live Levity Hall. You guys have been posting all kinds of cool things, family photos and food photos, and just have a ball on our Facebook page. Post all the cool things that you like. You're always welcome to do that. We love seeing it all, and I try to chime in whenever I can. And your birthday is January 1st. We'll have to remember that. Happy pre-birthday, Alessandra. Good night, Jim and Lovities. Thank you for another amazing show. Thank you, Crystal. You have a good night in Connecticut. And that's where our guest hailed from, Connecticut. He was originally from Naugatuck, Connecticut. Another great show. Good night, Jim and Lovities. Mary Bishop in Florida. Jane says, good night, everybody. And our special family and Jim, see you all on Monday. I hope you guys don't go into withdrawal that we're not here tomorrow. You can do some binge watching and catch up on some of the other episodes. Even if you go back to some of the episodes last year, some amazing moments, lots of fun, lots of laughs, and great guests and entertainment on the Jim Masters Show Live. Big good night, levity hug to you as well, Alessandra in North Carolina, USA. Thanks, gang. You have an amazing weekend. Again, we'll be back with Kathy Searle Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific live. Then also Cynthia Strauss and Brian Childers are going to be with us next week, and many, many more incredible guests. You're not going to believe the shows we have in store and all the new things and new features. And we've been doing this a year plus, and we're just getting started, gang. So stick with us. We have some amazing things for you guys. Really cool things. We're working on that Levity Cruise and just some amazing things. Thanks to all of you, too, who have stuck with our series. Many of these faces and these names I see consistently, and that means a great deal. All are duly noted. And if you're watching for the first time, we welcome you to JMS Live. It really is a beautiful thing to have you here because we always have a good time on this show, and that's what it's all about. Christine Clifton, lovety hugs to all. Absolutely. There's your big lovety hug, which Maureen in Arizona always loves when we do. You guys take care and be well. Have a good weekend. Keep smiling. Don't let anything get you down. Don't forget, relax, breathe from the diaphragm, love one another, and love yourself. Have a good weekend from Jim Masters and all of us here at the Jim Masters Show Live. We think highly of all of you. We think you're really cool people, very passionate, and it means a lot to know that you're here in support of what we're doing, our Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. Have a great night. Enjoy your weekend. We'll catch you on the next one on Monday. Thanks, gang. We love you all. Have a good night. See ya soon, right? We're not good goodbye people here. We always tend to extend our goodbyes, and we always say, we don't say goodbye. We say, see you later. So that's what I'll say. I'll just say, see you later. Thanks, gang. Good night.